Hi, this is Ravi Ozarker here. Now, in this video, we are going to talk about the bridge geometry creation inside GTStrudel. So I'm going to go in and exit out of this presentation mode and then start GTStrudel. Okay, so if I click on GTS icon, then I can click on GT menu and go to the graphical user interface for GTStrudel. Now, in GTStrudel, all you have to do is basically click on these menus one by one, okay, hence the name GT menu inside GTStrudel. Um, this is the graphical front end, so in the center of your screen, this is the graphics window. And on the right hand side, this is the data area. And that will change depending on whatever menu item you click, okay? Now, I'm going to go to units and active units and set the units to feet and kips first, okay? If I say click on create and then click on place members, on the right hand side you should see a screen that asks you for input for your members. Now we're going to create the stick line model of the structure, but at the same time we're going to assign material properties, section properties, beta angles, and so on. So in here I'm going to pick steel as my material property, then click on these three icons to select my member shapes. And we know we have assigned uh, user-defined tables, okay, in this model, as seen in the previous video. And I'm going to click on that, and you should be able to see three different types of icons. Now, this is like a shopping cart that you're trying to fill based on what's available in the rack. And if I click on each of these shopping items, I can select those and put it on the right hand side. So this is my shopping cart in which I've shopped for several sections, right? So if I click on done now, I have those sections available to create my bridge geometry. Here on the right hand side, there's several ways you can create things inside the GTStrudel graphics. Right now we don't have a single node point in the graphics, so if we draw something, we just have to specify the coordinate of the member that we're going to draw. Okay, so I'm going to go to start, length, and direction option, and then change this to coordinate to specify the coordinate where my first member for this bridge is going to be located at. Okay, and on the right hand side, I'm going to select the section to be the 1 inch by 2 inch section. That's fine. And then I'm going to say the length of that member is going to be 1.667, okay? Okay, so 4, 6, and 7. Now the direction which I want that to be going is in the Y direction. And if I click on the offsets, let's say we can specify an offset from the coordinate point that we're going to define. And if I click on generate member, it'll ask me the coordinate for that member. Now if you're following along this book, we are on, if you're looking at the page number in the PDF document, we are on page 50 of that PDF document, and this should be like step number 14 in chapter 6 of the document. Okay, so in that step, now we just verify if your inputs are correct. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to select as shown in step number 6. We're going to say that the coordinate is 0, 0, 0. Okay, so if I say OK, you should be able to see a member preview in the graphics. Okay, now this is just a preview. If you want to accept it, we just click on the store button, and now you've drawn your first member in the GTStrudel graphics. Okay, now note that we're looking at a planar view of the beam that we've or the element that we've drawn. If you wanted to see the 3D view, you can just press the I button to get an isometric view. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another. Actually, I'm just going to press the I button here just to get an isometric view. Now I'm going to draw my second member, right? For that, I'm just going to go in and just say joints, because now we have joints. We can draw our additional members relative to this member that we've created. And I'm going to say I want to place a similar member at a distance of, now this box has a unit converter, so I can type in 2 feet and 8 inches, okay, and it'll convert it to, decimals automatically, okay, if you press tab. And once you're done with that, you can just press on generate member. Now it's asking you for a joint, right? So if I click on a joint, it just shows me another member preview, okay, at 2 feet and 8 inches from this member that I've drawn, and it's copied along the global Z direction, right? So you see that member number 2, that's the new member. And once you do that, you just right click in the graphics and you click on store, and we get our second member drawn in the graphics. Okay. Now if I already showed you the isometric view, now the book tells you how to create that isometric view. Now we're going to create a third member, which is going to be 19 feet along the X direction. Okay, so I'm going to go in and set this to 0, and then set this coordinate to like 19 feet. Okay, and the length is going to be the same, right? So if I click on generate, I can click on this member and this member. So you see like the 4 legs of the bridge are now created. I'm just going to click on store to create those 2 new members. Okay. Okay, so now we've drawn 4 members in the graphics. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to draw some connecting members. Okay. Now for that, I'm going to go to the PDF document on page number 66 of that document. Okay. Now we know how to draw members. Okay, so there's an exercise problem that tells you to create additional members and deleting some members, right? Okay, so what if we wanted to delete a member that I just created here? Okay, very quickly you can do that. Okay, and what the exercise tells you is create an extra vertical member as shown below, using the knowledge that you've gained so far. And what they're telling you to do is basically draw an extra member. Okay, now the way you can draw that member is by using the same tool that we discussed here. Okay, so we can create the beam at an offset of at a certain distance. Okay, so now we don't know the distance, so I'm just going to go back to the book to figure that out. And let's say we want to create one at 22 feet. Okay, and if I say generate members, okay, I can click on any of these members and it creates another member and another member. Okay, and if I say store, it creates those members for me, okay, in the graphics. Now how do you delete members inside the graphics? Okay, I'm not exactly following the book at this point. Okay, but if you go to edit member data, on the right hand side you see a delete members option. Now before you click on the option, always see what option you've picked to delete things. So for example, here it's like the hit option is the selection mode, right? You can actually hit on any of these members to delete it. Fencing means like you can draw a window around the members that you want to delete. I'm just going to click on the hit option and delete members. Now I'm going to delete let's say this particular member, right click and it's gone, right? Now you see some members in the in the space here that are not connected to anything. If you want to delete those, you can of course go to edit join data and delete those joints if you like. Or easiest way is to go to check duplicate nodes and floating joints. So it'll give you a list of floating joints and you can click on delete all to delete those members. Okay, now what I want to do is connect those two legs using some beam members. And for that, what I'm going to do is click on the same menu item, which is create place members. And this time we're actually going to use a different type of member, which is T 1.5 by 1.5. Okay, and if I go and click on generate beams, this time we're actually going to go and use this option called connect end to end, right? If I click on generate members, first I'm just going to select these 2 points, creates my first member. Click on generate member again and creates the second member. And if I say store, it creates 3 members for me. Okay, now how are we going to create 3 members? Is because if you left click on one of these members, that's your first member, this is your second member, and that's your third. So what STRUDL did automatically is it actually split this one member into 2 parts because it recognized that there's a node point here in between, right? So GTStrudel did that just because you have that option called split add intersections option on. Okay, it says yes. If you mark it as no, it won't split it, okay, at that node point automatically. Okay, so moving along in this document now, if you've drawn your 2 members, let's click on the store button and get that drawing finalized. Okay, next task that you want to do is start creating some more members, right? So what we're going to do is again select the same properties that we had, okay, and but now we want to create some members that are going to be offset, okay, from the existing member. Okay, now we're going to take a look at that same tool that we had. Now I'm on page 73 of the document, okay, of the PDF document, and this should be step number 41. Okay, so we're going to provide the inputs as shown in that dialog box in the document. Okay, so 0.0625 is the offset distance. Okay, sorry, I have a negative here. It should be 0.0625 feet, and that's along the Z direction. So we're actually going to provide an offset there. The length of that member is going to be 22 feet. We know that, and we're just going to create 2 copies of it, right? So now this one is going to be copied 22 feet. If we say generate members and click on that member, it creates this member. Now it looks wrong, okay, and the reason is because the direction that we have is not correct. Okay, so I'm just going to say undo here and say that the direction is going to be along the X direction. Okay, so what we want to do is like this one is about 18 feet. So let's just say the feet is the length is about 18 feet along the X direction. Generate members. If I say generate members, it copies it. Okay, but the length is about 18 feet. Okay, now if you say 22 feet, okay, and you say generate members, you see it creates a new member which is parallel to the existing member, has a length of 22 feet and it's at an offset distance of 0.0625. Okay, so you can actually create members like this. Okay, so, or if you wanted to go on the other direction, okay, you can type in negative 0.0625. Okay, and then click on generate members, and here if you click on this member, it'll actually create another member that's parallel to that existing member, right? Now if you like that, you can just say store, or you can do undo. Okay, I'm just going to go in and click on store, and it creates 2 additional members for me. Now I want to create the top chord of this bridge structure that we're going to create, and that is going to be at 2 feet and 10 inches. Okay, so note how I'm typing in the units in mixed, the dimensions in mixed unit system, right? And if I click on 0, click in any of these dialog boxes, it'll automatically convert that to decimals for you.